Back in 2008, I heard that Capcom was going to be working with Tatsunoko Productions on a new Versus game, and that made me a little bit disappointed. I knew the game was probably going to be really good, but we would never see it in the United States due to all the characters. But thankfully for us, Capcom went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and now we're looking at Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, Ultimate All-Stars from Nintendo Wii. Now this game came out in arcades in late 2008, and then was released in the Nintendo Japanese Wii back in December of 2008. Now, this game was originally made on Wii hardware, so for them at Capcom this was a cheap game to produce rather than using big expensive arcade hardware, kind of like the Taito 2 Type X. But as you can see, even though this game is running on Wii hardware, it looks beautiful, it runs smooth as glass, and everything about the game is just perfect, which I'm going to get into. Now, the arcade version had less characters, and there were more characters that were released in the Japanese Wii version. There were 4 characters released in the Japanese Wii version, and they were Ipatsuman and Hakushon Daimyo on the Tatsunoko side, and the Capcom side got Beautiful Joe and Saki from Quiz Dreams, a game that was never released in the United States. Now, due to legal issues, Hakushon Daimyo had to be dropped from the game, but because of that, Capcom has went ahead and added in even more characters to round out the base to even just insane amounts of stuff that you have. So in Ultimate All-Star, the new characters from Capcom are Zero from Mega Man X, as you can see right here on the screen, and previously Frank West from Dead Rising. Now on the Tatsunoko side, there's been Tekkaman Blade has been added in, Joe the Condor from Gatchaman, and Yatterman number 2. Now there was also mini-games that were in the Japanese Wii version, and many of those were dropped. But there was one that was put in called Ultimate All Shooters, and while it's not that good, it is still a pretty fun diversion. Now, the Ultimate All-Stars game has some gameplay balance and tweak issues. Most of those were used to be less than the infinite combos, but most characters still have a lot of insane combos that you can still pull off. They just made it a little harder. Characters like Zero can really destroy you if they get you into the corner with a good player. Now, as you can see, coming up right soon is one of the new things that they've added in, which is online play via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. And just like with all other Nintendo Wi-Fi games, your mileage may vary on how well your connection is. I've had some games that have run really good, and some games that have run like watching slideshows. And this is coming from a guy who played on X-Band back in the 1990s, so I know a little bit about playing fighting games with lag. But this one that I ended up recording thankfully came out good, although the guy I was playing against wasn't that good. But the one thing that was with all virtual games, or all the Versus games I should say, the game is all about over-the-top crazy combos. There's so much stuff you can do. You can just tag team with your other partner and just chain it together for just tons and tons of hits. It makes the game so much fun because not only is it a game that you can just sit there and get into, and just sit there and just pick apart everything to it, but you can also just pick up a regular Wii controller, turn it sideways, and just mash buttons and have a good time. It's a great party game that pretty much everybody can play together, and you can play, if you want to get into the tournament aspect, and just play it with some friends and have a good time having tournaments and stuff like that. Now the controls are very simple in the game. They went down to 4 buttons. There's just light, medium, and hard attacks, and a partner button. Now what you can do with the partner button is if you have a little bit of red health, you can chain that into a Baroque right there, which will pretty much stop your character and make him go into a neutral stance, which that makes you be able to do more insane combos. You can string together things that you normally couldn't. And I'll admit that I'm not very good at learning the Baroque system yet, but I really want to learn how to do it, because I think it is a really great addition that they have put into this new game. Now the other thing that I love about the online is it's very simple. There's regular friend matches that you can play by putting in a stupid Wi-Fi code that everybody loves so much on the Nintendo Wii. But there's also regular ranked battles that you can play, and free battles with people just for fun. But one of the things that I love that Capcom did with this, that I really hope they add into Super Street Fighter 4, is the ability to get people that disconnect on you sent into their own private hell. So pretty much what happens is, if you are prone to disconnecting on somebody, the game will recognize that and only pair you up with people that do the same. And then if you keep disconnecting on people, they make it so that you can't play the game at all online for like a day or two. It's pretty much like a timeout, like saying, hey, don't do that anymore. Because, you know, we wouldn't have that in the arcades if you would just, like, you know, turn the game off and run away and say, well, you didn't beat me. Now, as you can see, I had to add this in. Here is the get on the wall. As I saw from the launch party event, I had to add this in. You can break out of it by pressing all the buttons together and doing a breakaway, it's called. But when you're playing against the computer, they will pretty much never break away from you. So you can just do this and hit them with the level 3 Ultra. Now, this game was really, really good. I recommend it for everybody that was a fan of the previous Versus games, or other people that are just looking for a great, fun party fighter. Doesn't matter if you don't know the characters or not, it's worth checking out.